Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you all for joining us for this special edition of Conversations with Taz, Bridgerton, Season 2. Now, before we jump into it, I only have two little clips because I ain't got Shondaland coming after me money, okay? Now, these are clips that have survived since the season dropped on the interwebs, okay? I watched them closely since they dropped, so I think we're safe. But the first one, we got to start off with because we get all hail the queen. That's all I'm going to say. Here we go.
I want Chanel 9 boots. Saw these niggas steady jocking cause they know I'm the truth. And I get it from my mammy ball main bust downs. These hoes can't stand me. Currently working on a Grammy. I want Chanel 9 boots. Saw these niggas steady jocking cause they know I'm the truth. And I get it from my mammy ball main bust downs. These hoes can't stand me. Currently working on a Grammy.
Gotta admit that she slayed every freaking outfit, and the wigs were just to die for.
And I love the coordination of the wigs with the outfits for this season.
I mean, last
Nothing
season
said,
was good.
I'm that chick.
I mean, the wigs for last season were good, but they stepped up their game this season. Her wigs were just literally just like, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I need to be wearing. And that was it.
And I saw, I believe on Twitter, where somebody said that they're glad that they fixed everybody's flyaway problems for this season with their hair.
Oh, thank God.
And I went back because, you and I both did it all weekend, going back and forth. Because I would see something in season 2, and I'm like, wait a minute, let me go back to this episode of season 1. Okay, and they did. But can we give a shout out to Kate? Can we give a shout out to Kate though?
Sweetie, we can't. We can only go so far because we can only do 2 episodes. That's it.
No, I'm saying the fact that she is beautiful and melanated with brown eyes.
Facts.
Pretty brown eyes.
I'm just like, here's the thing, and again, we're not talking about any of the South Asian Indian actresses that are out. They're all fabulous. They're all gorgeous. They're all beautiful. But here's my issue, is that because of the lovely colonization that has happened to every globe, all of them push the lighter skin and lighter eyed actresses. Why? Because that's quote unquote marketable. So the fact that Netflix went out of its way to say, you know what? I'm gonna show the rest of the Indian population that the rest of y'all are just as beautiful as they are, and I was here for it. I was like, thank God.
And I love that her character has a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility. She's strong-willed, but still demure. Like, yes, I know ethnically she is South Asian, but Kate is every melanated woman on the planet. When I kept trying to express how strong the Honorable Katanji Brown Jackson is, but show that she has to show that dainty, oh, I'm not a threat. Kate came in from the gate. Like, I'm woman, hear me roar, and do what you will with it.
So here we go. So we're gonna start, and again, we ain't got Shonda Rhimes money, so you're just gonna have to either go watch the series yourself or just listen to this explanation is the best way I can give it. So episode 1, we basically jump up, we both basically get a season 1 recap of Daphne and Simon's whole shenanigans. And okay, I'm gonna stick your paint right here. The books literally do not capitalize on each other. It's literally one sibling gets married, boom, out of the house. Next sibling gets married, boom, out of the house. Next sibling gets married, boom, out of the house. It's a chapter here. Now, if the other characters decide they want to show back up in the series, that is their option. The door is still open for Simon to still come back in and show up. They did not fully close the door, but the actor literally, he's moving on to bigger and better things. And Bridgerton was a good stepping stone to get him in the door for other things. And I'm pretty sure if Shonda gives him enough money, which she got a whole boatload from Netflix, don't think she didn't. And ABC's loss is Netflix fine. Thank you very much. She is hitting the ground running. So basically, we start off with the recap. Then we pop over to again the ton is a buzz with what is it? Marriage market season. So we have the presenting to the queen, and this time it's Eloise's turn. Now we come to this fact with the fact that Eloise is not that girly girl. She doesn't like any of this.
Eloise is their times Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah, basically. So she's like getting ready and she's like, ugh, dreading this day. And thankfully, what happens is during her presentation, the new Let It Whistle Down comes out and basically saves her behind. And so, we go throughout this and, she's like, thank God, thank God. Woohoo, I did not have to suffer. And so basically we have a round of parties, and Anthony is now saying he wants to get married and that he wants to find the new viscountess. Okay, fine, sure. But what happens is we go through a cluster of shenanigans of montage.
Well, he's decided he wants to get married because his hooker didn't want to play house with him no more. When he decided, oh, let me just parade you out to this party real quick. And she's like, you're not selling me a dream. Even if I go to this party with you, we can never get married. We can never have an actual relationship because I'm a hooker and I do what hookers do. And you just like that I be hooking because I do what hookers do.
I'm not saying that. That's her. So I'm going to leave that alone. But anyway, continuing on with this explanation. So he goes through these clusterfucks of dates and seeing prostitutes in the evening, which, yeah, whatever. Hey, you do you. And
those were more like interviews. Those were more like my college interviews weren't as rigorous as that.
They really
when I first jumped into corporate America, it wasn't that bad.
No,
he said, "Do you read? What do you read?" And then had the nerve to clown them during these interview dates. Into dates. That's what we'll call them. Into dates.
Mm-hmm. So then we have after a one night stand that he's driving back home from. I'm guessing Lady Danbury's house and their house is kind of close. I'm guessing. Don't ask me. Don't at me. So he's riding and he happens to see somebody riding and he thinks that their horse is out of control. And what is he going to do? To be the gallant gentleman shenanigans, which she really didn't need him to save her because she was fine. We meet his love interest and she's riding and he's like, "Are you okay? Huh? Are you all right? Do you need help?" And she's looking at, "Nigga, I'm not out here in these streets trying to do nothing with you. I'm good,
She's
thank
like,
you very much."
But she does outride him. Like he had to stop it. He's like, "No, don't do it, don't do it." She did it with ease. Just jumped right over. And then he was like, "Well, why are you avoiding me? Because you are a strange man following me." See, even through time, straight cisgendered men do not know how to catch a hint. You're out in the middle of the woods alone with a woman. First of all, during a time period where y'all ain't even supposed to be alone together. And you just keep following her, expecting her to have a conversation with you.
True, but he does get the better of her in one aspect because she said she was going to Mayfair, which was in the opposite direction. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give that was the point, Anthony. That was the point. You got that one. You got her. So then she skiddies off to Lady Danbury's house, gets there, but Lady Danbury beats her there, along with her mother and her sister. And they're talking, and then Kate kind of runs in. Her skirt is dirty because she's been writing when she wasn't supposed to, and without a chaperone. Lady Danbury is not playing in these streets.
Oh, speaking of which, hold on. Because this is when it gets good. This is when we learn, truly, that Kate is not to be played with. So this is our second clip, our two of two. Here we go. Oh, I love this scene.
6 and 20, Mom. But it should truly be of no concern, as I assure you, I am not here to find a husband for myself, only for my sister, who indeed stands quite tall and...
J'étudie le français depuis l'âge de 10 ans, Lady Danbury.
She is accomplished in both Latin and Greek, in addition to Marathi and Hindustani, of course. She not only plays sitar, murli, but pianoforte, too. And as for her dancing, well, it is quite remarkable if I do say so myself. And I do say so, considering it was I who taught my sister the cotillion, the quadrille, the waltz. Self-taught naturally, but still quite remarkable nonetheless.
Lady
Kate
Danbury
feels
is like,
quite passionately about her sister's prospects this season.
Oh, I do hope you did not go to too much trouble finding all of those instructors.
Not at all.
My mamma did not err in her description of you, a woman of such grace and kindness. I am sure we have much to learn from you, such as the preparation of this most excellent tea.
Kate, dear,
Again, let's just say, to put Lady Danbury on her edge, but not fully there, because don't think that Lady Danbury was not going to hold her tongue as soon as she found something else to talk to her about, which would happens later in the season. I think episode 3, she finally confronts her on the whole shenanigans of While They're Here, but we can't get into that because that's not in episode 1 or 2. So then we get to the Danbury Ball, which she has invited the Queen. And
Eloise's coming out to the Queen was interrupted.
yeah, I already said that.
Oh,
Lady
my bad.
Yeah, Lady Whistle
sorry.
saved her behind. So
I'm gonna just go back to my grapes. I'm eating grapes in commemoration of this show because all that fruit throughout the show has made me hungry.
So then we get to the ball, and Eloise is being Eloise as usual, and it is what it is. And so as basically Benedict and Eloise disappear, and Anthony and Lady Violet are having a conversation, she literally puts him on blast and says, well, seeing as how the Viscount is looking for a wife this season.
And everybody's like, woo! Where's my dance card? Send my dance card. Send the dance card. Pretty, please. I want the pretty clothes. I want the pretty clothes.
And he was like, you didn't just do that. She's like, I believe I did. I was like, okay.
She's like, I'm tired of fooling with you. Somebody else needs to take care of you, and somebody else needs to come take care of this house. I agreed to take care of it for a certain period of time. You agreed to get married a while ago. I'm ready to retire. I got to keep running and taking care of all this. Somebody else needs to come do it. Somebody that's younger. Shoot.
So basically, we dancing, and he's like fending off all these girls because his mother put him on blast. And so then we also get into an interaction between the Queen, Lady Mary, and her daughters. And due to the fact that Lady Mary, oh, that's your dog. Due to the fact that Lady Mary was the diamond at her era, and well, for lack of a better word, the diamond chose something else other than what the Queen and her parents expected.
The diamond chose bronze because the bronze was lovely. She fell in love with bronze. The Queen was mad, but the Queen looked good being shady and mad though.
Sure enough did. And she was just like,
she walked into that ball Mean Girl style, like with the Beyonce wind blowing and everything. Like, come on.
And so that interaction goes okay. Then I think, if I remember correctly, he comes off the dance floor, goes outside because again, he needs air after all those girls have been surrounding him all night.
Oh, and the one girl couldn't dance and kept stepping on his feet.
Oh my God, I don't even know how he even managed to stand after that. So then he goes out, starts talking with some guys, and really does not, do the whole canter thing there. And Kate happens to go outside because she's like bored as all heck. And she hears the conversation that he's having outside. And so when the guys leave and he's left there by himself, she's trying to walk and, girl, I'm gonna need you to be a ninja here because I'm just like, you're causing sound and you could have literally looked down and saw, oh, there's a pot there. Let me avoid this.
But
But
given the time period, if you have bushes near a patio, because they have to light the patios with candles, etc., there's going to be a pot there.
I'm like, I
And it's
don't know
like,
how she
girlfriend.
didn't see it. I don't know how she didn't see it.
And what, okay, just for the sake of these two episodes, what I'm going to say simply applies to these two episodes. So if y'all see me elsewhere on the interwebs speaking on the show later, don't go, oh, this is the only time. No, I'm just talking about these two episodes. So in the course of these two episodes, it was this scene. That was the time. This is the only time that I've been like, I wanted to just shake her, okay? She's eavesdropping on the men describing their frustration with the whole pomp and circumstance of the whole season. She's listening to Anthony talk about, what he wants. And it's like, that's what they have been ingrained to believe and listen to. You have lived outside of England where it's not as rigid. Um, but you knew that, you had to come back to get your sister a husband. But I'm like, why are you getting mad because of the status quo? What?
Point of order there. It's 1813, probably 1814 now. That rigidity, it does exist in India, but it's still a caste system. So it's not as rigid as England, but it's the caste system is
But
still there.
But remember, she didn't grow up in that society. She grew up in the part of the caste system where they weren't as rigid. In subsequent episodes, and you know this, you'll see where she explains what she was permitted to do. But I'm like, that's just like I've had to tell friends of mine who get upset or they don't have an understanding or they're frustrated when they run across men that are aligned with what's acceptable in today's society.
Hmm.
Because either they're looking for somebody who's radically out there or somebody who's extremely old school as they perceived, keyword perceived, their grandfathers and fathers to be. Because I don't care how much you window shop those relationships, you don't know it. But I'm like, that's right in line with it. And one thing that I've learned throughout the ages, a lot of people faked it in public, just like they do now. Where they're like, yep, that's what I want because yep, that's what we were raised to believe that we need. Yep, that's what I want. That's what I want, and it's not what they want. It's not what they're looking for. I've done that for years myself to save myself the arguments with family members, church members, things like that. Like, oh yeah, yep, looking for me a good, wholesome man this gonna go to church 7 days a week. Yes, ma'am. And walk my happy go lucky ass right on off because that's not what I want. But I'm like, why are you shocked and mad and tossing it back at him like, well, well, I want my sister to find love, girl. If if finding a husband is an entire city thing called a season, the likelihood of love is slim to none. Like that likelihood is slim to none. Like would you call it a see just like it she reminded me of the fans of the Bachelor and Bachelorette that get upset that the vast majority of those relationships don't work out. Ooh, child. I think I finally figured out how to make him shut up. And hold on, was that okay? My next point, I'm not quite sure if it was in episode 2 or 3, so I'll just reserve that.
Just 1 second.
No, because no, because that bleeds into episode 3. So yeah, I'll reserve that other point. Well, while you do that, I'm gonna run the ad and then we're gonna come back. Okay.
Looks like you lost another one.
Alrighty, sir. Tag, you're it.
Okay, so sorry, this TV is inordinately loud. 1 minute. So, continuing on, the ball, the shenanigans. So, her and Anthony get into another argument because, she was over listening to something and he was just like, oh, that's not what I meant. She's like, look, I don't really care. You do you. I'm not going to sit here bothering paying attention to you, but it is what it is. You want to feel that way, and then you think that a woman is only gonna mess with you because of what you do and what you got. Then I feel sorry for you. I really do. So then we move on to Eloise and her shenanigans with Penelope, which Penelope is trying to get out so she can go deliver her Lady Whistledown thing. Again, if you didn't watch season 1, that's not my problem. This is season 2. You should have been kept up. So she's going to go do her Lady Whistledown thing, but Eloise captures her, and she takes her outside. She's like, "Ugh, I'm really tired, and I really don't want people to sit here and think of me that I'm going to be the new Diamond like my sister was, and all this shenanigans." And I'm just like, the fact that she thinks that people are going to compare her to Daphne, I'm just like, sweetie, it is what it is. She's your sister. It's not like they're comparing you to someone who is not related to you or someone who is not in your sphere or that you don't know. That's your sister. It is what it is. So then we have Lady Danbury coming back with all guns out and all guns blazing. And she's like, so are you going to tell me or your sister or your mother what you've done? And she's like, well, and Kate's like, what do you mean? And she's like, so you didn't send a letter to the Sheffields about your sister? Hmm? Saying that, you're going to try and get her married to someone of note so that you can collect the Sheffield fortune. You didn't say it. You didn't do that. And I was like, oh snap, she done
And
put it
Kate
all.
was like, "Is it me? Am I the drama? Am I the drama? I can't be the drama."
I was like, okay, Kate, okay, Kate. She caught you by your neck. Then we have so they have their little conversation, their little tete-a-tete, and Lady Danbury comes back on top because she's like, look, don't try and show me up in this house, because she's like, look, I have done the work. I have been married. I have lost my husband. I have earned the right to live how I live, how I want to live, and do what I want to do. You
And just
are
a slight
not me.
precursor, Kate was like, "I don't need a husband. I'm perfectly fine. Aren't you happy?" Like Danbury's like, "Pump your brakes. I've lived every type of life, every level of life you could imagine that's brought me happiness and joy. And right now I'm on my terms." Because once again, during that time, women with a title, women of nobility, when they became widowed, they have more power, more freedom than the average woman. Because I keep forgetting her last name because she annoys the crap out of me. But Penelope's mama.
Featherington.
Yeah, Featherington. This that's why she's always in some mess, creating chaos and trying to scheme on people because she's not of nobility. When her husband died at season 1, she had to sit and wait for the next male of kin to come through to save them. But like Lady Danbury, now that title, that money, that everything is hers. That's it. So when she says I have freedom, yeah, she woo. So I'm about a modern woman.
Hmm. So then her and the queen have a conversation. She's like, look, Lady Sharma has come back here against her own better judgment to help her daughter find a husband. You need to give her some grace. And then she was just like, at this particular point, you need to choose a diamond at this point. I don't care who you choose, but you need to choose one.
Oh, and I like the thing about it is I love the back and forth between Lady Danbury and the Queen. And I love the fact that even though the Queen is the Queen, Miss Mamas, my lady, pulls them puppet strings. Because she's like, look, you can't fight with Whistledown and Lady Mary at the same time. Pick one to fight with. Pick one to make peace with. Because one is tearing you up right now. No matter how petty you trying to be, one is tearing you up. At least have an ally.
But see, she threw Lady Danbury off by picking Edwina because one, Edwina had not been in the ton until this season. So Edwina would know none of the players. She would know none of the moves on the chessboard at this point. So yay for a pawn circumstances, but not yay for Edwina because she's just like, well, wait a minute. Was I a pawn for everybody here? Was that what this is? Because I would have certainly pointed that out to Her Majesty later on in the series, which I can't talk about because we're only talking about episode 1 and 2.
And you know what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to give y'all.
No, I'm not. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Don't even suggest it. We would be here all night.
No. No, I'm not. No. We're going to give y'all 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And on a Friday, instead of Freeform Friday, we'll come back and discuss the rest. Because part of I have a theory. It's just my theory regarding why the Queen chose Edwina, but I cannot explain it because we're sticking to 2 episodes, and if I explain it, it's gonna take us down a rabbit hole of others. But we're gonna give you 2 weeks to watch these Ayla episodes. Well, if you watched episodes 1 and 2, You only got episodes left. There's 6 hours. Okay, it's a part-time job, very part-time job for 2 weeks. I mean, I ain't gonna send you no money, so don't jump in my DMs or my email. Um, and we'll discuss the other things because there's also a nice little Easter egg that actually DMac pointed out to me that I didn't even notice.
Oh
The
yeah.
But once again, we can't bring it up because you got to bring other episodes into it.
Yep. And I'm just like, yo. Here's the thing, folks. If you don't really understand these two characters, then please, 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 please do not sit here and drag us for them. We're only describing these characters as they appear.
And here's one thing. I didn't realize it until earlier. You know who I'm talking about. When the office called and said this, they have collectively agreed that parts of this relationship remind them of the nanny and Mr. Sheffield, where they were good for each other and meant for each other from the start. They kept doing that dance around, dance around, dance around.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Oh,
and I was like,
it's the same. Okay, well, even let's even draw these parallels because honestly, episode 2, there's really nothing that happens there. They go to the race, they argue, and they go home. That's pretty much it. Episode 2 is
and then the one dude that I guess it was a failed attempt at flirting with Kate.
That happens in episode 3. Sorry.
Oh, my bad. See, I told you some of these bleed together.
So anyway, so that's basically what happens. And so yeah, episode 2 really is just a long drawn out suitors for Edwina. They go off to the races. They argue some more. He's trying to impress Edwina, and Kate is stopping him at every turn. And that's pretty much basically it. The episode really, it's not a drag, but it's just blah blah. But so let's stick to parallels here. And I'm wondering if there are any other Bridgerton fans out here who have caught this, that there are so many different movies and TV series and TV miniseries and books that this particular slow burn has copied from. We have Pride and Prejudice, with the whole fact that Kate does not even care about what Anthony has to say, what he's going to do, what's happening. Only thing she cares about is her sister and making sure her sister is good. And she was just like, look, oh, yay. Sorry, I got excited.
Upstairs.
I got excited. You know, I mean, just like the Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth was all throughout this entire season. Let's just be honest and real. It just was. And then you have the parallels of the whole Bianca and Katerina from Taming of the Shrew, where, you know, you got the guys vying for Bianca's attention. And, you know, Bianca's supposed to be the best, the second most beautiful besides Kate, and the most even tempered in the whole entire of Padua. Not Verona. I almost said Verona. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Padua.
I almost said Verona because, you know, we always go to Romeo and Juliet, but you know. But it's just really, really funny how people are expecting, and I think we spoke about this, like people are expecting what happened in season 1 to happen in season 2. Sweetie, there's two totally different situations, two totally different temperaments, two totally different people. Daphne is not Anthony. Anthony is not Daphne. What Daphne needed to go through to get to her happy ending is not the same thing that you need to be expecting from Anthony. Anthony had a different set of circumstances and a different set of things that he needed to get there. Because if you had told Anthony at the beginning of this, in episode 1, that girl that he was chasing was going to be his wife, he would have never have believed you. Why? Because at that particular point in time, he wasn't ready to receive Kate. He
No,
wasn't ready.
not to mention people. Can we please stop? You can love a show, you can love a movie. Stop acting as if every next part of that movie, whether it's a sequel or the next season of a show, is supposed to be a carbon copy. Because as soon as that happens, you're gonna be like, oh, where's the creativity? Where is it? Open your mind and allow things to evolve. Allow other stories to be told. You have gotten so accustomed to there being one story told for 20 seasons of a show. You know what? Y'all need to get out and get to the theater. That's what it is. And I'm not talking about the movie theater. I'm talking about the actual theater.
Because I'm just like, it just tears me up that y'all sit, and I'm like, Simon is one, they didn't kill him off, so he's not dead. So be grateful for that. And so there's still an opportunity for him to show up and say what? Say season 3. He happens, him and Daphne show up and their son is a bit older and they maybe they had another baby.
As much as they go at it, they might have 10 babies by season 3.
Shoot. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. You can continue talking.
Because we know he like a good buffet. He like a good Daphne buffet.
He sure enough did. I'll be right back. Hold on. You a mess.
But I will say one thing that I do appreciate this season is the dispelling of ignorance between the Bridgertons. Because poor Daphne was so green, so just sent out into the world with just how to be a proper lady, but not how to be a woman, how to be a wife. She didn't understand. She was not taught about basic anatomy for the times. I'm keeping it within the time frame because she didn't know how babies were made. She was easily duped and things like that. And the fact that she's coming back, imparting her wisdom on things, chef's kiss. Now still, let's break away from the Bridgerton family for a moment. I know every family, and this dynamic is through tons of movies, tons of TV shows, where there's the pretty sisters and the sister that's not deemed as pretty. Penelope's character is giving me very much so Cinderella, even though she is not put to work, so to speak. She's not really taken seriously. And Jiminy Crickets, enough with the yellow dresses. Enough with the yellow dresses for Penelope. But I love how Bridgerton spotlights the incessant entertainment for proper ladies. You're supposed to be so dignified and so above reproach. But they get together to gossip, to talk about one another, to try to feel better and above each other because of gossip. Like, they had an oral days of our lives and guiding light and one life to live and as the world turns before there was even television. And that was their big thing. We're such proper ladies, but come on over here and let me tell you about such and such's business.
And see, here's another thing. Scandal sheets did exist. They did exist back then. The only difference with this particular one in this show is that it used people's actual names.
That and most people knew who was writing the scandal sheets, just like the old Hollywood gossip columnists. Everybody knew who the gossip columnists were. You invited them to parties and sat them at certain tables on purpose. Because say I suffered a scandal and it got printed. To redeem myself, I would invite the next quote unquote problematic person to come and I would sit that person near them at that table, have them walk around.
Yep, basically.
Yeah, the only difference is theirs wasn't some hidden person, some ghostwriter. They knew who it was. They knew exactly who it was. And they just did everything in their power, to try to keep their names out by tossing their neighbor under the bus. But your
Yep.
final thoughts on the night?
Okay. So I'm gonna let y'all in on a teeny secret, but I'm not telling you how to do this. I will
And don't ask
never
me.
reveal how to do this, and do not ask. Leave my DMs alone.
Don't ask me neither.
But I have managed to watch this entire series from season 1 into season 2 in Japanese. And when I tell you that
It
this
hits different.
season and last season, and shoot, even some other shows on here, like what we were watching Gilmore Girls, we were watching Outlander, we were watching what was the other one?
What was the other one?
It'll come to me later. But we have been
What?
watching what? What?
No, I was gonna say probably as soon as we end the broadcast, we'll both remember. That's how it usually happens.
Yep, that's generally what happens. So, and when I tell you, it just slaps completely different. The shade is better. It's more, the intent of the shade is more. When I tell you, watching Emily Gilmore dress down Lorelai in Japanese is just, it's a whole different set of shenanigans. I said, oh my gosh, who are these people? Because she is literally reading her for the filth at an even higher level than what I was expecting. I was like, nah, I was like, this ain't right. And see, what happens is I came upon this trade secret completely by accident. So for those of you who don't figure this trick out, and I hope Netflix does not take this away, please God, it's my life. But
But it does. It changes. It. Whew, it amplifies everything. And the narrator in Japanese for Bridgerton, no shade,
to Miss
no
Manager,
shade.
we love you. We stand you. We will rock with you until the end.
But baby, the shade was here. In Japanese, the shade goes here.
I was talking to this about, but with my coworkers today who were in a chat group, and I said, trust me, if you could get that in Japanese, girl, you'll never go back. You'll never go back. You will never go back because it is just too much. And one of my he's like, I'm not. I was like, trust me, the story beats still hit. You don't even have to really pay attention. You already know what's going on the screen. The story beats will still hit you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you get into episodes 4, 5, 6, and 7 and 8.
I was just about to say that because I started rewatching episode 4 today because there are just some parts with the. I just needed it in my life again today.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The ending of episode 3 will always be my fave. Always, like no question. The ending of 3, man. Woo. Woo. But yeah, no, I suggest I'm being real honest here. Go watch the show. Yes, was the sex and shenanigans and shade from last season visibly missing? Yes. And for me, I'm all the more for it because I really want to share this with my mom because it's really interesting and it's cool. But I'm not really hip on showing a very, very Christian woman all of this. I'm really not.
Well, not only that, the perspective changes. Last season, we could have a little bit more shadiness because we were seeing it solely from the perspective of a woman going through the season. This season, we're watching an outsider and a man's perspective on all of this. They have no history. So those sparks, it's going to take a minute to, it's like revving up the lawnmower. You got to,
You gotta give it yes.
you know, so it's gonna be different. And like you said earlier, Daphne and Anthony are two different people. You can't keep recreating the same thing. And Anthony is
Serious.
dutiful, very dutiful, and I'm an honorable man. I must show that I'm an honorable man. Baby boy, you like hooks.
He's just very, very serious. And I'm just like, sir, I don't need you to be serious right now.
Yeah, very, very true. But we do get a glimpse as to why he is serious. Y'all will see that. Like I said, we'll give you 2 weeks, but it'll be on a Friday. We'll take over Freeform Friday, and we will discuss all the nuance of this season. But as always, thank you for joining us, and you all can see me tomorrow on Conversations with Taz. And before you all ask, yes, yes, I will be talking about it. So, till next time, each one teach one, each one reach one. Y'all behave now.